Consumer Reports named one specific store-brand bacon the best money can buy in America, while a separate recall pulled Oscar Mayer turkey bacon from shelves nationwide for possible listeria contamination just months earlier. We blind-tested bacon from 11 major stores across taste, value, label honesty, and food safety. Only 2 passed every round. What disqualified the other 9 starts with a lie printed right on the packaging. Walmart's Great Value Bacon sits on shelves as one of the most affordable options, usually priced around $5 a pack. In blind taste tests, it rarely surprises. Panelists consistently rank it near the bottom when stacked against both mid-tier and premium brands. Once cooked, the flavor is muted and the smokiness fades quickly, leaving little to stand out. The strips tend toward the thin side, with a fat-to-meat ratio that results in a limp texture rather than a satisfying crisp. Still, for shoppers focused on stretching a grocery budget, Great Value Bacon does have its place. It works in recipes where bacon isn't the star, crumbled into a casserole, tucked into a sandwich, or layered in a breakfast bake where other ingredients take the lead. There's nothing unsafe or misleading about what's in the package. The product simply delivers less than what many expect from a bacon breakfast. For those who want bacon to shine on its own, the evidence suggests looking elsewhere. For those who need a supporting player at a low price, it gets the job done. Just don't expect more than the basics. Oscar Mayer's bacon lineup draws a sharp line between its original and thick-cut offerings, with evidence revealing a gap between what's promised and what's actually delivered. Independent testers found that the so-called thick-cut slices were, in practice, thinner than standard bacon from other brands. In one blind trial, a panelist described the baked product as so fragile it basically disintegrated when touched, falling apart long before it reached the plate. Reports from consumer forums echo the same story. Expectations of hearty, meaty strips often give way to disappointment as the slices cook down to wisps, with some buyers comparing them to tracing paper. Despite the bold label, there's no regulated standard for what counts as thick in the bacon aisle, and Oscar Mayer's packaging exploits that gray area. Meanwhile, the original variety fares better in the kitchen. Testers praised its ability to deliver a buttery, crispy, chewy texture, even if the flavor profile doesn't stand out as exceptional. The contrast is clear. While the original meets basic expectations, the thick-cut label creates a promise it doesn't keep. For shoppers who want to get what they pay for, the evidence suggests that marketing claims on bacon packaging deserve a closer look before making a choice. Smithfield's reach in the pork industry is unmatched. The company processes more pigs each year than any other operation worldwide, supplying bacon to supermarkets big and small. With a supply chain this vast, expectations run high for what ends up in the pan. Yet the reality of Smithfield's hometown bacon leaves many shoppers scratching their heads. In multiple blind taste panels, the most striking feature isn't the flavor or aroma, it's the sheer thinness of each slice. Before cooking, the strips feel delicate, almost insubstantial. Once heat is applied, that thinness turns into a problem. Instead of yielding a hearty, meaty bite, the bacon shrinks rapidly, curling and crisping into wispy chips that shatter at the touch. Several reviewers reached for the same comparison. The final product resembles a bacon-flavored wafer, more snack than breakfast centerpiece. The texture is light and crunchy, but the eating experience falls short for anyone craving substance. In a market where branding and scale often promise quality, Smithfield's hometown bacon serves as a reminder that bigger isn't always better. The world's largest pork processor can fill shelves coast to coast, but even with all that muscle, it can't guarantee a strip that satisfies when it matters most on the breakfast table. Hormel Black Label's reputation takes a hit not for one glaring mistake, but for a steady stream of letdowns across multiple tastings. In a blind panel organized by All Recipes, this bacon landed dead last. Testers didn't mince words. They called it fat, greasy, messy, and simply not fun to eat. The disappointment wasn't just about flavor. Panelists pointed out that the slices were all over the place, with some strips thick and others thin, leading to uneven cooking and unpredictable results on the plate. In another ranking, the most generous description was unspectacular. a word that sums up the eating experience for many. Instead of delivering a reliable bite, Hormel Black Label leaves shoppers guessing with every batch. The lack of consistency means breakfast can swing from soggy and limp to oddly tough, sometimes within the same package. For a product that carries a premium price in many stores, the evidence doesn't support the idea that you're paying for quality. When bacon feels like a gamble, it's hard to recommend putting it in the cart. Generic store-brand bacon from smaller chains creates a different kind of problem for shoppers: a total lack of reliable evidence. Unlike national brands, these private label packages rarely appear in independent blind taste tests, leaving buyers with no way to check performance before purchase. There is no stable product identity to research. Labels change, suppliers rotate, and the same bacon might taste different from one week to the next. Without a public track record or consistent reviews, shoppers are left guessing at quality, texture, and even safety. Nationally recognized brands at least offer a trail of third-party write-ups and recall histories to consult. With generic store bacon, that transparency disappears. The missing data becomes the story. There is simply no way to know what is actually in the cart until it is already on the plate. For anyone who values verifiable information, these options fail the transparency test by default. Food safety warnings rarely get more direct than a confirmed recall for Listeria monocytogenes. In October 2024, BrucePac, a major supplier of ready-to-eat meats, pulled nearly 12 million pounds of product from the market after positive Listeria results. The recall covered bacon and ham items distributed through national retailers including Trader Joe's, Target, and Walmart. The affected production window stretched from May 31st through October 8th, but the risk didn't end there. Some of these products were designed for extended shelf life, meaning unopened packages could remain in circulation well into 2025 and even 2026. For consumers, this is not a matter of flavor, price, or packaging claims. Any item tied to a Listeria recall is automatically off the list. The USDA reported no confirmed illnesses linked to the BrucePac recall, and both the company and the retailers acted to remove products from shelves and offer refunds. Still, the incident stands as a clear reminder. When it comes to ready-to-eat meats, vigilance doesn't stop at the checkout. Always check product codes and recall notices, especially for items with long shelf lives. In cases like this, even the best taste or value can't outweigh a documented safety risk. On July 2, 2025, the Food Safety and Inspection Service announced a recall of nearly 368,000 pounds of Oscar Mayer turkey bacon original. This product, fully cooked and vacuum-packed, was pulled from shelves after laboratory tests found possible Listeria monocytogenes contamination. No illnesses were reported, but the recall covered multiple package sizes shipped nationwide and even exported as far as Hong Kong and the British Virgin Islands. The science behind the risk is straightforward. Listeria is a tough bacteria that can survive and even multiply at refrigerator temperatures. Cooking at 149 degrees Fahrenheit or higher destroys it, which is why the bacon was safe when it left the ovens. The problem, according to investigators, happened after that step. Somewhere during packaging, after cooking but before sealing, Listeria likely found its way back onto the product. This is the weak point for all ready-to-eat meats. Even a spotless cooking record can't guarantee safety if the environment isn't tightly controlled right up to the moment the package is sealed. The recall was swift and thorough, and no one got sick. But this episode serves as a sharp reminder. Ready-to-eat doesn't always mean risk-free. For consumers, it's a reason to check recall notices and pay close attention to use-by dates, especially with products that claim to be fully cooked and ready to eat. Kirkland's turkey bacon deserves a careful note before the spotlight turns to the best performers. While Kirkland's signature pork bacon holds a clean safety record, the broader prepared food lineup at Costco has occasionally been touched by recalls, most notably products like salmon or egg dishes, not bacon itself. No evidence ties these incidents to the flagship pork or turkey bacon lines, and no Listeria-related recall has ever been issued for Kirkland turkey bacon. Still, the presence of recall history in adjacent categories is a reminder that even trusted brands require scrutiny by product, not just by label. Brand loyalty should never replace a close look at verified safety and quality for each item in the cart. Appleton Farms bacon from Aldi breaks the pattern of disappointment with a performance that's both surprising and satisfying. In a nationwide blind taste test led by Sarah Haas, every single panelist picked Appleton Farms as their favorite, beating out national names and other store brands alike. The praise was consistent. Strips cooked up with a crisp edge and meaty bite, delivering a balanced saltiness and a gentle smokiness that didn't overwhelm. Even after a noticeable cookdown, where much of the fat rendered away, what remained on the plate was never limp or greasy. Instead, the bacon held its shape and snap, offering a texture that testers described as genuinely enjoyable, not just passable. Price is another point in Appleton Farms' favor. Aldi's weekly ads show this bacon landing under $4.50 per pound, making it one of the most affordable options among the major retailers tested. That value doesn't come with a catch. The product's flavor and texture stand on their own, without the need to hide behind bold marketing or flashy packaging. For shoppers looking for proof that low price and high quality can actually meet in the middle, the evidence here is clear. Appleton Farms bacon delivers on taste, texture, and value, a combination that's rare enough to deserve real attention. Wright brand bacon stands out in a crowded field by delivering on the promise of premium quality, both at the table and in the fridge. In a recent blind taste test, Wright claimed the top spot, with panelists reaching for words like meaty, smoky, and chewy. The texture drew special praise, described as something between traditional bacon and jerky, offering a substantial bite that holds its own as the centerpiece of any breakfast. The flavor profile leans into rich smoke and deep pork notes, never overshadowed by excess fat or artificial sweetness. Convenience also plays a role in why Wright earns its price tag. The resealable packaging is more than a detail. It keeps the bacon fresh, prevents leaks, and spares the fridge from lingering odors. That practical advantage sets it apart from the many brands that rely on thin plastic wraps or flimsy zippers. For anyone who's tired of bacon grease pooling at the bottom of a deli drawer, this is a welcome upgrade. At roughly $9.50 to $10 per pound, Wright costs more than most supermarket options, but the evidence shows that the investment pays off. Flavor, texture, and storage all meet a higher standard. For shoppers willing to spend a little extra, Wright is one of the rare brands that justifies its premium, delivering a bacon experience that lives up to its reputation. Costco's Kirkland Signature Bacon sits at the top of the evidence-driven rankings for one reason. It delivers on every promise that matters to shoppers. In the most respected blind taste test on record, Consumer Reports named it the best bacon money can buy. Out of 15 brands covering every major grocery chain and style, Kirkland was the only one to earn an excellent overall rating. The panel praised its balanced fat-to-meat ratio, describing strips that cooked up crisp without burning or falling apart. The flavor, a smoky sweetness that lingers, stood out even among premium-priced competitors. The numbers behind the value are just as strong as the taste. Kirkland Signature Bacon is sold in bulk 4-pound packs, typically priced between $4 and $5 per pound, depending on the season. That's less than half the price of many so-called gourmet brands, putting it within reach for families who want quality without overpaying. For those with freezer space and a Costco membership, it's a rare example of bulk buying that doesn't mean sacrificing freshness or flavor. The slabs portion easily into meal-sized packs, and the generous cut means less shrinkage in the pan. More bacon actually ends up on the plate. What sets Kirkland apart isn't just the taste or the price, it's the consistency. Across years of independent reviews, the product has maintained the same high standard, with no major changes to the recipe or the cut. Unlike many store brands, Kirkland's pork bacon has never been tied to a documented recall or safety warning. No evidence connects it to listeria or other food safety concerns, and no major complaints of misleading labeling have surfaced in consumer forums or regulatory filings. The only practical consideration is storage. 4 pounds of bacon takes up real space, so the best value goes to shoppers who can freeze what they don't use right away. For those who want a bacon that holds up to scrutiny, taste, texture, value, and safety all checked, Kirkland's signature stands alone at the top. The evidence is clear, the performance is proven, and the only question left is whether your next shopping trip includes enough room in the freezer. Right now, a label or a brand isn't a guarantee. Only careful testing cuts through the noise. With major recalls and misleading marketing still shaping what lands on store shelves, every cart is a choice backed by evidence or assumption. Which bacon will you trust next time? For more investigations that matter at the checkout, subscribe for the next story.